Are you okay? The 3 words he fell for, the 3 words he wanted to hear, the 3 words that cured him. Marcus Anderson is a cold-hearted billionaire entangled in his dark past. He is perfect to the eye but broken underneath. Family is not something he believes in. He prefers to bear the pain alone until one day he saw the light at the end of the dark tunnel. Camilla Graham is a successful billionaire with a warm heart filled with love and care. Family is everything she believes in. Little did she know that her smile, her jokes, her kindness brings light to the most darkest soul. She doesn't need a prince to save her. She shines among those who never believed she could. Even among those with the most coldest hearts, a contract marriage brought them together. Never had they thought that their fates would change. Oh my goodness, I'm getting a headache. We have the fashion show next week and we still have a lot to do. Ma'am, I have contacted Mr. Williams and he said that he will bring everything right on time. I looked at my secretary, Sarah, and saw that sweat was trickling down her face. None of us had a good night's sleep. I pity everyone, including myself. Days of sleepless nights gives me so much stress that sometimes I feel like buying a cottage in a village and taking care of cows for a living. I employed Mr. Williams because he is known to be the best. But what is he doing now? On time now is the right time. What is he waiting for? I tried massaging my temples, but the headache wouldn't go away. Even though I come from a rich family, I made this company from the ground up by myself at such a young age. So I never got to experience what other girls did. All I did was work and get stressed. I might have dated some men but never found love. I was sure that I would grow old with a cat beside me. Oh, ma'am, today your dad contacted me and said he has a problem in his business and would like it if you could help. I don't know how to solve problems related to hotels. Does he not see I'm already busy with my own stuff? I gestured towards the stacks of papers lying on my table. Why is everyone trying to piss me off these days? But I raised my hand and stopped her before her chattering gives me more of a headache. She was not only my secretary, but also a good friend. She was hardworking and preferred everything to be spotless. I appreciate it a lot, but sometimes it gets in my head. Fine, I'll call him. I threw my hands up in defeat. What, Dad? No. Why would I marry a stranger? I was utterly pissed right now. Didn't I tell you about this earlier? The director board want to have a promising bond with the Empire Group. I know that I'm forcing you to do this, but you also know the risk. RJ Group is not stable these days. Just pretend your husband is not there and do your own work. Wow, I can't believe you just said that. I laughed sarcastically. And Dad, you are the head of the RJ Group. But why are you always pressured by the director board? I know this wasn't your decision. You have to stand up against them someday. I know. Dad exhaled loudly. But I'm also doing this for your own good. You're the one that's going to be benefiting from this, not me. Me and the director. I was cut off as his voice grew louder. And you also knew this was going to happen someday. You knew that the RJ would arrange your marriage since the day you joined the business. It's either today or any other day. That's the price everyone under RJ has to pay. That's because RJ is the only group in the States with an ancient mindset. I rolled my eyes. Camilla. I could hear Dad's frustration in his voice. You agreed to this several times in the past few days, but then you pretend like you never heard of this. Why? Okay, stop. I will marry him. You don't need to bother me by repeating the same thing over and over again. And you keep forgetting it every time. When the RJ Group become more stable, you can divorce him. Just try it out. My father talked like he was telling me to try on some dress and change it after I get bored. Anyways, even though I marry him, I won't care about his existence because I'm too busy, and Dad, right now I'm busy too. So bye. I cut the call before he could reply. "Ma'am?" I turned around as Sarah called me. "We have sent invitations to the Empire Group YJ Group and the Boltons to the fashion show. I'm sure they will invest in our new product." Wait, the Empire Group. It means that I would be meeting my future husband soon. Well, if he has ill intentions, then it's great time to show him that I don't give a shit. I just needed him against the toxic RJ Group. That was it. I was rubbing my hands with anxiety. I have done many fashion shows before, but this was a big one. We were opening a new chain of stores around the world, and this helps to attract investors. For the event, I wore a white backless jumpsuit with large hoop earrings and light makeup. My 5'8" height had always appealed my figure, and today it fits perfectly to my outfit. "Ma'am, you should go and talk to the guests now. Anna will soon be giving the welcome speech." "Okay. Shit, my palms are sweating. How will I shake hands?" Sarah chuckled at my anxiety. "Kiss them? I'll fire you." I chuckled and walked to the front. "Oh dear, here you are. Come with me." My mom dragged me to a group of people, and I recognized my dad and Mr. Anderson, and there was a handsome man next to Mr. Anderson. My mouth started watering as I stared at his toned body underneath the white dress shirt. He was tall and had dark hair with mesmerizing green eyes. From the corner of my eyes, I saw my models checking him out. I narrowed my eyes, and they quickly turned away looking frightened. "Mr. Anderson, here is my daughter Camilla." "Camilla, this is Mr. Anderson, head of the Empire Group, and this is his son Marcus Anderson." My dad narrowed his eyes silently, telling me to smile, and so I did. I scowled. I saw my mom face palming from the corner of my eye. Marcus narrowed his eyes and looked away. Thankfully, Mr. Anderson didn't notice my rude gesture. "Marcus, this will be your future wife. Isn't she so pretty and lovable? I already like her as my daughter-in-law. So capable. Look at this fashion show, it's living proof." Marcus gave his dad a forced smile. "I have a call to take." He excused himself and stormed away. I watched him walk away and then turned around to go find my investors so that I can take my mind off this marriage. As I was talking to a group of people, I saw my mom running to me like a chicken on fire. "The wedding is next week," she squealed in joy. "What the fuck? Language, you ungrateful child. I'm so happy. Mr. Anderson liked you a lot today and said he is looking forward to work with us sooner. So we both decided to have the wedding next week. Congrats, Mom. I'm happy that you are marrying him. Poor Dad." Mom frowned and slapped my back before walking away. I chuckled and turned to the stage as Anna cleared her throat, grabbing everyone's attention. "Ladies and gentlemen, please you may sit down. I want to thank you all for being here. The event will start in a short time, but first of all, our main designer, Mr. Paul Bellier, would like to give a short introduction." After Mr. Bellier's speech, the fashion show started with a music in the 60s. The theme today was the hippie style in the 60s, and the Vixen Industries was never the one to disappoint. The female models were the first to walk in with their flared jeans bandanas and boots. The male models looked equally appealing, or I might say hot. I felt a pair of eyes staring at me. I looked to my opposite and saw my so-called gonna-be husband staring at me with a scowl on his face. I rolled my eyes and focused my attention back on the show. Finally, it all came to an end, and Sarah told me the happiest news in ages. "Ma'am, so many people have already bought shares in our company. We are gonna be double rich." She was jumping up and down. I was in tears, screaming along with her. "Sarah, I'll buy you the world. That's so sweet, but a raise in the salary would be enough." We both laughed until someone came and ruined the moment. "Sister." My brother came hopping towards me. "Your man looks hot, but not as much as me," he teased. He was 26 and 2 years older than me, but he acted so immature. My mother told me that Marcus was the same age as Jake, and I prayed to God wishing he was different. 'Cause I can't marry a child. Even though Jake was playful and funny, he was a very strict and responsible man when it comes to business. He runs the RJ group with my dad. He would have been a brother I could be proud of if he had more neurons in his brain. Get lost, I scoffed. You know that he's been shooting daggers at you with his eyes? Yeah, I saw. Sarah came to me and scowled at Jake before looking at me. Ma'am, Mr. Marcus Anderson said he wanted to talk to you. So, he wanted you to come outside. I scoffed. What the hell tell him to come to me if he wants to talk to me? My brother chuckled and walked away, giving me a thumbs up. I was so pissed at this arranged marriage that my anger management went down to 0%. Most of the CEOs under the conglomerate RJ were forced into such marriages for business deals. We had no free will even though we all belonged to the privileged part of the society. So my anger was directed more towards the director board instead of Marcus, who at the moment was itching to be at the top of my most hated people list. I turned my head and saw Marcus striding towards me with an angry face. He was gritting his teeth so hard that I was sure his face would split into two. God, you are so annoying, he hissed angrily. Did you just come here to say that to me? No, I came here to tell you that even though I'm marrying, you don't get attached to me because I'm never gonna love you or anything like that. You are just a disturbance in my life. Mind you own business after you marry me. Let's not talk at all if it's possible. Did he think I was lovesick or something? Are you dumb? Why the hell would I get attached to you? I'm so busy and I have no time to pet a wild dog. Bye. I winked and walked away waving at him. I turned my head to see him looking shocked. Guess he doesn't get rejected very often. He doesn't know what he's getting into. I'm an unstoppable rolling barrel. I was walking down the aisle in my wedding dress with my hand draped around Dad's. The day I dreaded became a reality. The blinding lights flashed across my eyes as the reporters took photos of my grim reality. My friends, my business partners, and the media were all here, but none of them knew this was a forced marriage. Only my best friend, who was currently traveling the world, knew, and every second I wished she was here with me. I was one of the many who were forced into business marriages by the RJ. Foolish me thought belonging to the main family would be a privilege to get out of their wrath, but I couldn't. If I backed down, the Grahams would lose their position as the main family. I'm not just a woman, but a businesswoman. I knew how important this marriage was to me and to the Grahams, so I need to do this even if I hated it. I walked with my head bent low, thinking all the reasons to justify this marriage. Camilla. My dad cleared his throat, reminding me to look up at my dear future husband. There he stood wearing a black suit, looking like an angel with his broad shoulders, black hair, and green eyes. One could tell at first glance that he had an amazing body, not that I was interested. My dad gave my hand to Marcus, and I climbed the steps to stand before the priest. He talked and talked, but I didn't pay any attention to any of it. I was desperate to get out of here. I didn't care for this marriage earlier. But now that it was happening, I was feeling more anxious than ever. Marcus cleared his throat and narrowed his eyes in anger. I looked around to see that everyone was staring at me. Camilla Graham, do you take this man to be your husband? The priest asked once again. I do. Then I felt someone touch my hand. I frowned and looked down, only to see it was Marcus. He brought my hand up and quickly put a diamond ring on my finger as if he was disgusted by the mere thought of touching me. I rolled my eyes and took his ring from the ring bearer and shoved it in his finger. Happy. Now you may kiss the bride. I scowled at the priest, and Marcus also did the same. Then he closed his eyes and sighed before looking back at me. I thought that he was going to ignore what the priest said and embarrass me on our wedding day, but instead he leaned in and pecked my lips. I was shocked for a moment until I heard everyone around us cheering and clapping. After the ceremony, we walked to the car to get to the reception. The entire drive was very awkward and very silent to the point I thought I could hear my heart pumping blood to the veins. I was happy when we reached the reception, but without assisting me with the dress, Marcus walked out of the car. Great. At the door stood many reporters holding their cameras out to take more pictures than they already had. Few were shouting out questions about our relationship, which I had no intention of answering. Marcus also realized that going without me would cause chaos. He walked few steps back and held his hand out with a scowl on his face. I quickly got out and forced myself to smile as I stood beside him, linking my arm in his. "You are shit ugly when you scowl," I whispered to Marcus, and his scowl only deepened at my words. He gave me one side glare and dragged me inside, almost making me trip and fall several times. As we reached inside, he dropped my hand and shoved his inside his coat pockets. Just wow! I shook my head and looked ahead only to be bewitched by the sight before me. It was a garden reception with a colossal water fountain in the middle flowing water out of its head in a heart-throbbing pace. The cobblestone around the fountain was decorated with light pink rose petals, while tables were draped in silk clothing with colorful rose bouquets attached to the side. Lit candles were kept along the tables, giving a shimmering bright to the greenery hanging from the ceiling. "Marcus, come here. Meet my siblings." Dad came running to us and dragged Marcus to my relatives who were gathered near the buffet. Nice, Dad. Now I'm standing here like an idiot. Time passed quickly, and I was talking with some of my business partners when I saw someone leaving for the exit. I squinted my eyes to get a closer look and realized it was none other than Marcus Anderson. I excused myself and quickly ran up to him. "Are you leaving?" He ignored me. "The wedding isn't over. Don't you dare leave me here to be embarrassed," I exclaimed in horror. But before he could run away, a slow song started playing in the background. "You two come here." I saw my aunt waving her hand, and everyone was now looking at us expectantly. "Come and dance," she urged in a hurried voice. Marcus sighed and dragged me onto the dance floor. With another frown in his face, he kept his hands on my waist and waited till I kept my hand on his shoulder, which I did. We danced to the rhythm without having any eye contact. I could sense that he was frustrated. Well, who said I wasn't? I want to get the hell out of here. "So annoying," he murmured. "I know the feeling." I shot back, earning a scowl from him. After the dance, we stayed with the guests for a couple of hours and left to the car. We planned on not having a honeymoon for the obvious reasons that we were strangers and had a business trip with Boltons coming up. This marriage was planned ahead to go against rival groups in upcoming business deals, so this would be the first time in action. The car ride was once again pin-drop silent, so I was looking out the window the entire time. Marcus was immersed in his phone and didn't look up at all. Finally, after a long drive, we got into the private jet of the Empires. Marcus sat in the very corner while I absorbed myself staring at the meaningless shows in the TV. I saw him glancing at me several times in annoyance. His lips twitched to a scowl whenever he met my eyes. We both knew that we had to share one room when we go to the hotel because our rivals in business would also be there. "Miss, wake up. The flight has landed." The air hostess shook me several times. I rubbed my eyes and slowly looked around. Perplexed, my brows furrowed as Marcus was nowhere to be seen. "Where is Marcus?" "Mr. Anderson already left." "He left." "Yes, miss. Another car will be coming to pick you up." Wow, I can't believe it. He was worse than I thought. Before I left the jet, I changed from my wedding gown to pants and a red tank top. The car took me to an enormous hotel facing the sea. Palm trees were lined along the entrance, while small yellow light bulbs flickered at the side, giving a golden glow to the walls of the hotel. "Miss, your bags will be brought to your room. Please come with me. I'll show you to your room. Mr. Anderson is already waiting." I followed the hotel staff to my room. I opened it to see a Mr. Rude working on his laptop on the table. I sighed and went to the bathroom with one of my bags that had already arrived. I stood in front of the mirror and inhaled sharply, bracing myself to the future I would be having. Phew, okay. Let's do this. Let's not give a damn about what he tells or does. Let's never talk with him. Let's do this. I nodded my head in satisfaction and changed into a comfortable t-shirt and pants. I walked out with my chin held high, only find Mr. Rude lying on the bed typing on his phone. "Who said that you could sleep on the bed?" Well, I guess no talking was not an option anymore. "Who said I couldn't? Where the hell am I supposed to sleep if you sleep on the bed? It's your problem. I don't care." He didn't look up once from his phone as he spoke. I looked back and forth between the couch and the bed. Why would I sleep on the couch? My precious spine. Hell no way I'm sleeping on the couch. Move your butt. He rolled his eyes and moved, giving me space to sleep. I got inside the sheets and covered my body. I was so tired that I instantly fell asleep. I woke up to a sound of a phone ringing. My eyes were too heavy and I was too bored to open them. The bed was very comfortable. I wondered how they made the bed so warm that I felt like heat was radiating in front of me. I decided that it was probably the pillow that I was hugging. But why does it feel like the pillow is hugging me back? So weird. The phone started to ring again. Ugh! Someone groaned in irritation. A masculine voice, to be exact. Who was that? I was sure I didn't make a sound like a horse choking. I opened my eyes and saw a handsome face shadowed by the sunlight falling in right in front of me. Marcus was hugging me from my waist, and I was doing the same. Our legs were tangled in the sheets, providing me with no escape unless he moved away. I felt as if my eyes were bulging out of their sockets. At the same time, Marcus opened his eyes, mirroring my reaction. Like a flash, we quickly moved away to the two ends of the bed. The phone was ringing again, and now I thanked it for occupying my mind so that I didn't have to think about what happened seconds ago. He raised his eyebrows and looked at the ringing phone. I turned to where he was looking at, only to find that it was my phone that had been ringing all along. I quickly picked it up to see my annoying brother calling me early in the morning. "Hello, Jake. Why are you calling me so early in the morning?" I whispered to my brother. "Why do your hips ache?" "What?" I heard him laughing from the other end. "Well, I called to tell you a surprise." "What?" "Brandon, your ex is here." I quickly got dressed and went downstairs without waiting for Marcus. As I walked down, Jake met me on the 3rd floor. "What is that jerk doing here?" I hissed through gritted teeth. "He came with the Boltons. Remember, Mr. Charles Bolton is his uncle." "But I thought he left for England to work in his father's company." "His mother came back to Bolton's after divorcing Mr. Maitland." "They divorced. Have you been living under a rock?" Jake face-palmed. "Does face-palming run in our family? Why the hell does everyone keep doing?" Brandon was my most hated ex. He was a can of trash that doesn't deserve anyone's love. My family and friends had warned me several times when I was dating him, but I was naive enough to trust him. I prayed to God several times, wishing Brandon wouldn't cause any scene here. "Hey guys." Brandon greeted us as soon as the elevator opened. My mood soured seeing him standing in front of us with his messy blonde hair. He was attractive, I would say, but now he just disgusts me. "Be nice to him. We need the contract with Bolton's," Jake whispered in my ear. "Be nice to him? Are you mad? I whispered back. Let's go get breakfast, Brandon said hesitantly, giving us an awkward smile, noticing our eye roll. Without another word, we strode past him into the dining hall. Chris Bolton, son of Mr. Charles Bolton, and his sister Clara were already seated with Brandon's mother, Lisa Bolton. The Harrington Smith. Harrington and his wife Taylor were seated on the opposite side of the Boltons. I sat next to Taylor along with my brother, and Brandon sat next to Jake in disappointment. "Good morning, dear. Sorry Charles couldn't join us. He's in an online conference and will be joining us in the evening." Lisa gave us a big smile, stretching almost to the ends of her face. "Where's your husband, Camilla?" Clara smirked. "Oh, who?" Jake kicked me from under the table, and I shrilled in pain, earning looks from people around me. He was tired, so I didn't want to bother him." Actually, I forgot all about him. He was a fake husband, and my dad clearly said that I could divorce him after our group becomes steady. So I had no motive to take our relationship a step further. "Oh, good morning, Marcus. Come here." Chris looked behind me and called out to Marcus, who was scowling to the point his face would split, to come and eat. My eyes widened seeing him. God, Marcus is hot. A pure Adonis. He was wearing a white shirt with beige pants, his disheveled hair almost covering his piercing green eyes. I stared at him for a while, checking him out until he gave me an annoying glare. My cheeks reddened, but thankfully he didn't notice it. He sat at the head of the table as breakfast was being served. "Hey, Marcus, you haven't changed since the last time I saw you. Last time was great." Clara gave Marcus a huge smile, and in return Marcus smiled. What he smiled? For her. That was surprising. Last time was great. What the hell does that mean? Did they do it? Even though this was all fake, I didn't want someone like Clara clinging on to him. Questions were running through my mind, and I felt my knuckles tightening, clenching around the silver utensils. "Hey, babe, you want more salad?" Brandon pointed at the salad beside him. I would have been pissed if he called me babe, but under the circumstances I gave him a huge smile. "Sure, thank you." Marcus looked at Brandon for a second and kept his head low, showing that he didn't care. After breakfast, I went to the balcony of our room and called Sarah to ask how everything was going in the company. But obviously that was a mistake, since all she could do was ask about my marriage, which wasn't really going well considering Marcus knew Clara. I mean, I don't care if he's friendly with another girl, just friendly because I hate cheaters. But this is Clara. That's a big fat no. Through the corner of my eyes, I saw the door open and Marcus walk in with a frown tugged on his lips. "I have to go now, bye," I said to Sarah. "Bye, ma'am, and tell me more about your Mr. Hottie later." She giggled, knowing I would disagree with the word your. "Love you, ma'am." I smiled. "Love you too. Bye." I turned around and saw Marcus throwing me a disgusted glance. He shook his head in dismay and sat on the bed taking his laptop out. "Wait, did he—" I snorted. Did he really think I was cheating on him? I tucked the phone inside my pants and walked back into the room. Marcus looked up at me with hatred in his eyes. "I don't care what you do with your men, but make sure anyone else doesn't know so that you won't tarnish my name." My God. I gave a humorless laugh. "Well, husband, hate to break it to you, but the world doesn't revolve around you." Marcus's lips twisted into a scowl. I moved closer to the bed and folded my arms. "Tell me, have I done something to you?" Marcus didn't answer. I smirked. "That's what I thought. You're just projecting your own frustration on me. Please find someone else to that. I have better work to do. I'm going now, bye." I gave him a wave and walked out the door. I went to the beach and walked in the calm silence. "Hey," I was peacefully strolling through beach until Brandon had to come and ruin the moment. "What are you doing here, Brandon?" "Here I came to see you." He looked at me as if it was obvious. "No, I mean, here as in on this business trip," I said with an eye-roll irritation crystal clear in my voice. "Oh, I decided to join the Boltons. I never had a good relationship with my father, so suppose he will give his business to my cousin." I kept my head low, not wanting to continue the conversation with him. "So how are you doing?" "Wow, Brandon, I'm so not gonna how are you after you cheated on me." I rolled my eyes in annoyance. "You know I was drunk at the party?" He looked down at his feet as in what seemed to be like guilt. But I knew better. I knew he dated me so that he could show off to his dad that he is capable of running the company. I thought that I could push those thoughts off and try to make him a better person, to really love me and to not think of me as a business deal. But unfortunately, before that happened, he cheated on me. "I don't care if you apologize or not because now I'm married." I held my hand up and showed him my ring finger. "Come on, how can you love that piece of wood? Does he even talk?" "Yes, he does. Now mind your own business. Camilla." He grabbed me by my arm. "Brandon, let me go," I yelled, trying to free my arm. "Just listen, I still want you, okay?" "Let go of me." I tried to yank my arm back. "Camilla!" His grip tightened around my wrist, bruising it. I whined in pain as he used more force. "Let go of her." I saw Marcus approaching from the corner of my eye. Embarrassment flushed my cheeks, not for getting harassed, but Marcus, who I mocked not a while ago, coming to save me. "What, Marcus? You don't even care about her. It's so obvious. Doesn't mean she's not my wife. Now move your bloody hand away from her." Marcus's face darkened. He let go of my arm, only for Marcus to hold my hand and drag me back to the room. He closed the door with a thud and turned to me with a vicious anger blazing his eyes. "I told you not to act recklessly and ruin everything." "What I didn't go to Brandon. He came to me." I folded my arms in front of my chest, trying to prove my point. "Whatever, don't cause a scene and expect me to save you. Let's go for dinner." Marcus took his phone from the table and went out. "And do something about your wrist before you come out. Don't humiliate me," he called out as he left, leaving me in pain. I huffed in annoyance and quickly changed into white pants and long-sleeve floral top covering my bruised wrists. I got inside the elevator with him. Both of us didn't say a single word during dinner. Marcus sat on my right and Jake on my left. Brandon sat in front of me. I felt his eyes on me, but I chose to ignore him. Jake felt the tension as he looked back and forth between us. "Explain to me later," he whispered in my ear. I slowly gave him a nod. After dinner, we went back to the room. I didn't want to face Marcus, so after changing, I took my pillow to the couch. Marcus stared at me for a while and went to sleep on the bed. Gosh, I want to divorce him. "Mom, no. I heard someone whimpering. I thought it was outside, but it felt so near. The voice so familiar, but yet it was distant. I opened my eyes to see Marcus on his bed, sweating, his fingers tightening around the sheets as he was having a nightmare. I didn't know what to do, but I stood up and walked over to him. "Marcus, Marcus." I shook his arm, trying to wake him up. "Marcus, it's just a dream." He suddenly opened his eyes and looked at me. "Get out," he yelled in anger. What did he just tell me to get out for saving him? "What's wrong with you, dork? I saved your ass, and this is how you treat me." I was more than annoyed. I quickly turned and strode to the bathroom to calm myself. When I came out, he was dressed in a t-shirt and pants, getting ready to leave. "Where are you going?" I asked with a scowl. But he ignored me and left. I looked at my phone to see the time, and it was 2:30. Where the hell was he going? I waited a while for him to come back, but he didn't, so I went to the balcony for fresh air. As I was looking down, I saw a man seated on a bench at the beach. I squinted my eyes to see who it was. I would have recognized that body anywhere. It was Marcus sitting on the bench staring at the ocean with a pained look. I quickly took a chair to the balcony and sat observing Marcus. He bent his head back and closed his eyes, feeling the breeze of salty water. I suddenly felt the urge to run down and hug him. He looked so fragile at the moment. He was always composed, never letting out his emotions. Seeing him this vulnerable made me want to run to him to ask what was bothering him. But he would hate me for it. I quickly shook my head, annoyed at myself for thinking of such things. I saw a notification on my phone. It was Allie, my only friend. She was traveling in Sri Lanka currently. She worked in a welfare project in India for a few months, so I couldn't see her for a while, and it made me sad. Before the wedding, I told her about my arranged marriage, and she had been very supportive to me. She was my happy pill, and now I desperately needed it. So I called her and she answered quickly. "Hey girl, how's hubby? Shut up." I laughed, my mood already lightened after hearing her voice. "What, he's handsome?" She said so innocently. "Change the topic." "No." "Then I'm cutting the call." "You care about him, don't you, Allie?" I said in a more warning tone, and she giggled. I talked with her for a while and went back to sleep. About an hour later, I heard the sound of a door opening and closing. I slightly opened my eyes and saw Marcus getting under his sheets, looking exhausted. "Is he always like this?" Shutting everyone out, Marcus leaned back on the headboard and pulled out his laptop from a bag. He started working without even getting any sleep. Not wanting to get caught, I closed my eyes and went back to sleep. Today, we were meeting Charles Bolton. He couldn't come yesterday evening, so he promised to meet us today. He was a nice man compared to his children. He also told us that there would be a charity event today evening which requested our presence. After our wedding, we were the talk of the country. Two massive businesses merging from just a simple wedding ring. Our photos were printed in every magazine and newspaper, paparazzi following everyone and everything related to us. It was getting on my nerves, but thankfully the spotlight would go away in a few weeks. I would be meeting some of my investors in the event, so I worked the entire afternoon on my bed, pretending not to have a husband. After hours of working, I stretched my arms and opened a drawer to take some painkillers. But as I was about to get it, the door suddenly opened and an angry Marcus walked in. He was scolding someone on the phone, looking furious, scaring me with his every yell. He slammed his fist on the table and I flinched at the sound. Noticing my reaction, he quickly cut the call and looked at me with cold steel eyes. "Get ready, we are going now," he ordered me with a flat tone and went inside the closet to change. Geez, does saying please kills a person. After a while, Marcus came out wearing a dark suit with a matching waistcoat and a tie. He stood in front of the mirror and began fixing his hair. I watched him, my mouth hanging open, drooling over his handsome face. But as soon as he saw my reflection in the mirror, he narrowed his eyes and glared at me. I quickly looked down and cleared my throat in embarrassment before sprinting off to the closet. I changed to a floor-length red dress with a high slit, and then curled the ends of my dark brown hair to a twist and fanned it around my shoulders. As I was doing my makeup, Marcus knocked on the door. "What are you doing there? Giving birth, come out. We are going to be late." "I am coming." I put on a light makeup and walked out in fury. Without even looking at me, he went out the door to the elevator. After we both reached the lobby, his driver came and drove us to a huge hall filled many elegant guests screaming rich with money. I walked along the showcases inspecting each and every item. There were so many items lined up to be bid, and some beautiful necklaces instantly caught my eyes. Marcus was right beside me observing the jewelry. We were both searching for things to bid on since it was a charity for a children's hospital. Then we walked to an area with artwork. Even though I didn't understand art, I still admired it. Marcus seemed to be more interested in the paintings than I was. He talked with a few people about the paintings and seemed to be nodding his head in approval. "Are you going to bid on the paintings?" I asked him with a curious look. That was all he said. He walked off to look at other paintings, leaving me alone. I met my investors shortly, so I spent my good time with them until a man spoke through a microphone telling us to sit down. I followed the crowd to a room with a stage and spotted Marcus at the corner. I quickly walked over and sat next to him. He gave me a "you are so annoying" look before focusing back on the auction. The auction went well with me buying a few necklaces and Marcus buying 7 portraits. Where the hell would he hang those? "Want to have dinner?" I asked awkwardly in the car. He glanced at me from the corner of his eyes and sighed in irritation before pulling into the parking lot of a restaurant. As we went inside, many people recognized us. The manager soon came running and gave us the best spot by the window facing the sea. Shortly our food came and I looked up to make some conversation with Marcus, but he was on his phone ignoring me. "I talked with my investors. I might have to go to Germany for a few days next week." I tried again to bring up a conversation, but he kept tapping on his phone. I don't get why I was trying to make conversation to ease the tension between us when my ultimate goal was to divorce him. I reminded it to myself several times and kept my mouth shut throughout dinner. After we got back, I changed to a blue short and a white baggy t-shirt. As usual, I took the pillow to the couch and dozed off. After a while, I heard the whimpering back again. I knew it was Marcus, and if I woke him, he would lash at me once again. So I closed my eyes again, not wanting to cause any more scene. But curiosity got the best of me, so I slowly opened my eyes to see him sweating, looking very scared. I wanted to go and tell him that everything was okay, but I knew better. He repeated the same thing for a while. Then I heard the door opening and shutting with a loud thud. I opened one eye to peek, and the room was empty. No Marcus. Hesitantly, I wrapped a robe around me and went to the balcony to see him. And he was there on the bench just like last time. We stayed in Florida for the next 2 days. Marcus's nightmares came every day, torturing him with sleepless nights. Even though I didn't like him, I also didn't like the idea of him suffering. No one should suffer. He slept every day for 2 to 3 hours until his nightmares came. Then he goes to the beach, relaxes, and then comes back to bed to work. I wanted to ask what was bothering him, but I knew that we were not close enough to talk about that. After a boring week, we both got on the jet to fly back home. To his home. To a new beginning, hopefully.